any. So I hope it will still be interesting and useful for all of you. But if not, at least I hope it will be fun. And we have some presents. And so the idea of this IT talk is what would I like my older brother to tell me when on my first day in IT? So those are just maybe some super simple, maybe you know them all, then you'll win more prize, I guess. Anyway, so let's start.
Hi everyone, thank you everyone for coming. We're really glad to see you in our DataArt family. And today we will talk about some small things, as Svetlana mentioned, and we will divide our presentation in a few parts. There will be some tips for the mobile testing and some tips for the web browsing testing and pretty other interesting things.
So that's me. I'm Sveta, just like I've been working in IT for more than 5 years, even though it doesn't look like, but it's true. And I studied math, so I guess I like it. And that's it. So the way we're going to have it is we're going to have a question, and if anybody knows the answer, then please raise your hand, and that's the way you can get your prize. And if nobody will know, then Vitaliy will tell us the right answer. So the question is, where can we find an iOS emulator? Either nobody knows, or then it's perfect, or everybody's shy. But presents are good, I promise. Anyway,
okay. Well, I will tell the answer for this question a bit later. So first of all, I will tell you the problem we have with the emulator, why it is required, why we need it, and how to use it probably in real life in testing. Generally, all mobile devices are divided mostly on the two operating systems, for the Android and the iOS, and
Windows.
yeah, and in real life we need also to test applications on the mobile devices. But well, there will be situations when we won't have like mobile phones or whatever. You won't have an iPad or some iPhone or another device. So the simplest way to test it and to check that everything works correctly is to install a simulator or emulator that will looks and feels the same as the real one device. It will have like the same resolution, it will have the same features, and also a built-in browser which feels and looks the same real one. And starting for the iOS operating system, it's a really proprietary operating system, so you won't be able to download it somewhere on the internet, on Google, and find it. It's distribution open source, so you won't be able to find a cheap phone produced by Samsung or LG, whatever. It's only the Apple devices, and it's an Apple software that is really limited. So the answer for the question where we can find an emulator or simulator for the iOS operating system is the Xcode application. So it's most likely the application for the developers. So you can just create application there for iPhone, for iPad, Apple Watch, whatever Apple device. But also as a built-in feature, there is also so-called simulator that will simulate one of the Apple devices you would like to see. So, and here you can see that it's really pretty simple to open it. So just download the application from the App Store, then click two simple buttons in the developer tool drop down and select a simulator. And here is it. real-like simulator looks like the real one, iPhone 6. You can do everything you can do on your real iPhone. It runs in a window. You can just type some messages, type some text with a keyboard. You can tap on a screen with the mouse. It supports rotations and other hardware features. As for the hardware features, there is an option where you can emulate some actions like the hardware buttons, home button, the lock button. You can also emulate the Touch ID, which is currently very popular to make some payments. So in the testing applications, you can just click this simple tool and, for example, your payment will be authorized. There are also options where you can choose the operating system you would like to test in. So the earliest one will be the iOS 8.1 and the latest will be 10.2. So any kind of devices, any kind of operating system can be downloaded. As for the devices, it's a pretty huge list here. But as you can see, all the devices that are produced and currently supported by Apple, they can be selected here, and the emulator can be installed using this device. So what about the advantages and the disadvantages of this simulator? For the advantages, it feels and looks like a real one device. It supports a Safari browser, which is available only for the iPhones. So you can just go to it, test it, and find bugs and raise them on your tracker. It has really good graphics, so performance is really good. And it is possible to install third-party applications, like testing applications. So it's not only testing in a web browser, like take a look at some page. And for the disadvantages, it doesn't support the access to the app stores, so probably won't be able to test some purchases or in-apps, so on. Okay. So the next question is where we can find the Android emulator and how to install and uninstall applications on it.
Do we have any guesses? Oh, we have. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it comes with the Android Studio app. So once you install and download it, you first download and install it, you just have it on your computer.
And then how do you install the application on your emulator?
I think every program you make on your computer can be connected or linked with it. So once you click the run or play button, it just gets deployed onto the machine, onto the virtual machine.
Maybe.
So that's been my experience so far. It's really easy.
It is easy, that's for sure. Anyway, yeah, you're right. What's your name? Michał. Good. You have options of presents. This or USB hub, or I don't know. That's for a car if you have a car. So what would you like to have?
What was the third option?
Third? For the car?
Awesome. Can I have it?
Okay. Even if you don't, that's the first one. You're welcome. Anyway, so those applications exist to help us. For example, as a tester, it's true. Sometimes customer will come to me and ask to test something on a device, for example, or iPhone or Android-based, device that I don't have. We can't buy all of them. And what can I do? We can ask a customer to buy it for us, but I'm not sure how he will be willing. And especially, sometimes we need to test on several devices, like not just phones, but also tablets or different version of a system, like Android 8 or Android 7, or just different system version, I guess. So that's why we have this Android Studio, which is free. You can download it in 10 minutes, I guess, from internet. And the Android developers, that's what they use to create Android applications. Any applications on your phone, like Facebook or just any application, that's what they use. As a testers, we can use to debug or automate testing. That's all I know. Or the way I've been using it is to download the emulator, and then emulator is just a device inside of computer, right? So you wouldn't have to buy a real one. It's just a device that you can pretend. It's like a toy, I don't know. And how do we install? Nope, I will show you then on my computer. Because it's super easy, and just like he said. Anyway, I'll show you in a second. So I already downloaded. I saved you just 10 minutes. So that's how the Android Studio looks. It has like this little green, I think that's the green icon. You just open it, and that's how it looks pretty much. It might ask you some questions. And if you want to create an emulator, you go to this icon. It looks like, it's super small, but still, it looks like an Android with a phone, I guess. And I don't see it. Okay, I see. I still don't see. Nie widzę tego, wiesz, bo to jest na drugim tym. Tak, bo jest na tym drugim komputerze. Anyway, you click there, and that's the pop-up that opens. Okay, and I already created 2 emulators. One is called Nexus 5 with the Play Store option, and another one without. Just like Vitaliy said before, that sometimes it's a problem with iOS, I guess, but not with Android. So if you want a real device with the Play Store where you can download any existing applications, you just create what you create. To jak mogę znaleźć swój drugi ten? Bo chyba to ten jest, nie?
Nie, prezentacji to ma ten.
O, przepraszam. Ktoś widzi moje... No to mam. No, a kiedy wybieram, na przykład już mam tam. No nie wiem, jeżeli to jest... I'm not sure if it's that important. Nie, o tu, ten zielony.
Zielony, tak?
Mhm.
Druga.
Tak. No, ale jak muszę włączyć te zielone. Albo nacisnąć tu, create. That's how you actually do it. You ask a guy, and then he comes, and he creates you an emulator. That's easy, right? That's how I usually do it. I told you, we need a big brother. If you don't have one, I can tell you where to find one. Już. O, dobrze. Dobrze. Dziękuję. Perfect. So here, you just like he clicked, and now I can continue being smart. You can just select any type of phone or tablet or any kind of category of device, even TV. And then you just select, for example, Pixel, and you push next. And then here are the different Android versions, for example, Android 8. And you just select whatever you want. Oh, wait, just back here. This is how you see if the emulate that you are creating, if it has, if it will have the Play Store on it or not. by this sign. It says Play Store. So if you want a device with a Play Store, then you select this one, okay? And if you don't, you just select any other. And you click Next, Next, Next. Yes. You can give any name, you can whatever, change anything. I don't want to change anything. Finish. Okay, and we have a new one, Pixel. And the question is how to install applications. How to install an application on that device. So that's how you run it. Just click play. It said that I already clicked. I usually click twice at least. And you'll see in a second. Yeah, might have had it. Come back. Yeah. How do I bring you back?
Other side.
Druga. Here, I found it. Ta-da! Magic. So that's how I have a new Android now. And the way I want to install, for example, an application, if you Google it, that was my problem actually. I Googled it and it said, you have to go to console application and then to run some smart commands and to put your application in specific folder and something. But the secret is, the way you install is by drag and drop. You just take your application and drop it. I think that's way good. Okay, where am I? Okay, I'm here. For example, I have my... Here. You see, I have just a file, and I drag and drop. And sorry, on my second screen, it's told me that it's being installed. Okay, and I can check. And right now, it's just like a regular device. And here's my application. The way I uninstall it, does anyone know how to uninstall it? I'm not sure. Yeah, touch and delete. Perfect. Which present do you want? Vitaliy can pick. Yeah, you just, so this is exactly like a real device. Just like on your Android phone, you would just grab it and you see, uninstall. And that's it. That's the magic. So really, really easy. To be a tester, it's easy. I don't know why they pay us so much. That's for sure.
Where do you get those files?
Usually, with Android, it's easy from developers. They send us like an email or whatever but yeah, from developers. That's how, or that studio actually creates that file after you kind of, yeah, but usually from a developer. In iOS, it's way harder. That's impossible to just send you via Skype or via email an application and then to install it.
But you can manually deploy it in probably 30 minutes.
What?
I'm not agree because from version 10 and 10.2 on iOS we can also drag and drop and we can send files by emails and so on. You can install it in the same way, applications.
I guess you're right. I've tried. I had only one developer that even before that version, I was able by using the how do you call it? Forgot the application. iTunes, right? The iTunes, you just drag and drop. Yes. But usually still, I guess maybe not everybody knows. I don't know why we still keep using different other applications like Hockey app or TestFly, or I think even TestFly might be. Hockey app is for sure you have to pay for it. I'm not sure it's for if you have.
No,
Yeah, I think so. You don't have, because Apple, it's a beta version. It's like from Apple Store. It's they're the same company, kind of.
And the version before the App Store, we don't need to pay.
So the way it was before, I guess, the 10 version, what we did, we have this application that you install on your device called either Hockey App, or you just go to your web browser and Hockey App, for example, you log in, and then you have a list of applications, and you click install. But the problem was that you still had to need like provisions and UUID and yeah, I mean, with that, it's way easier. You just can on any device and still. And oh, and plus with a test flight, the only thing I know is when you push your application to the App Store, it still has to go through review. And if it went through test flight, then it's like way faster. You can do the review faster than any other way.
Faster, but also the human needs to test it, yes. But test flight do automatic job. How to say? We don't need to care about provisioning, certifications, and so on, because test flight test it on the beginning.
Perfect. So we'll continue. If you still, those were the hardest questions. So we're doing good. Slideshow. Anyway, that's perfect. Next question is, how can I use my home computer while I'm at work, or otherwise? Yeah.
It's super simple question. Yeah. Yeah, correct.
Present.
Doesn't matter.
That's easy to throw. I'll still throw.
Well, it's easy to work somewhere using the remote access. For example, you're in Spain, you can just connect to your computer and work from a laptop and have a computer somewhere in Lublin or in Wrocław, but still working on the same configuration, the same programs and everything that is installed. There are a few programs that need to be configured on the server. It's like RDP, VNC, TeamViewer, and Chrome Desktop, and many others. But the option I'd like to show, it's not just a simple connection here. It's the possibility of multi-users. And a real use case when it can be useful. You can just create on the server up to 10 users. And then you can set up a VNC connection to this computer and run at the same time and connect up to 10 users. And 10 users can test at the same time. For example, you have only one Macintosh computer at work, yeah? But everyone needs to test in a Safari or just anyway in some iOS emulator or Android emulator. You have one computer, you create 10 users, you connect to this computer, and each tester have its own separate desktop, so no interactions. They have the same software and they work as they want. So it's super simple and super easy to access.
For example, for me, why do we need this? It's like right now we're using my laptop because I have Android Studio already installed on this computer. He doesn't. And for example, that's why if I'm going somewhere, I'm traveling, or I'm just visiting home, or I don't know, and I don't want to install on every single computer that I'm using the Android Studio. That's why we need to connect to be able to connect to our work computer anywhere we are, and that's some options.
Or you have just one license on a single computer,
Yeah.
but you can set up 10 users and connect to 10 of them, so it will be very cheap. Okay, we're going to the next question. How can I record screen on Android?
Yeah. I'm sure there's more than one right answer, so you can say anything. I don't know all of them. Google Games. Yes, exactly. Why do we need it? Is as a tester, we're testing the mobile devices, for example. So we have this. That's actually my favorite. I don't know. What do you want? Okay, what do you want? Ah, you already have. Perfect. I love this. Anyway, so the same thing. Here's a developer. We finally installed his application by drag and drop. We're testing it. We found a bug, but I'm here. He's somewhere in different location usually, and somehow, yeah, I have to prove him that he's wrong and we have a bug. And one of the ways is by recording. Before I knew there's an application, I was actually, and that's how I still do actually with iOS. I'm not sure how to use. I don't think there's a free application for iOS.
I don't use any application for that, but in iOS 11, really touch shortcut. But when I do something on my screen, I will start record. I don't know how.
I know that it's possible only if you have MacBook. For example, if you have MacBook and you can plug your phone, and I don't. I have.
But on iOS 11, it will be possible.
So we'll see. But now I have to survive somehow, and usually I have one phone in my hand, and I'm just recording it. And then they can see like my manicure and everything. But here we have an application that can actually do it itself. I just push it, and the one I use called AZ Screen Recorder. It's also for free. I don't remember if there were any, maybe some advertisement, but I don't think there was anything that I didn't like. And you just install it. It's on your like desktop of your or home page or whatever of your tablet or any device. And then you know how you do it, right? Scroll it, and then here it is. And you just put, I think it might be in any language, but I think it's in Russian. You just put record, push, and it asks for permission, and you're like yes, and then you record. I think I've recorded this video. Wait, where is the mouse? Anyway, yeah, now it went. I've created a video especially for you. Somewhere here. It's really educational. I think I just stopped it. Sorry. Yeah. So that's just normally how you record a video. Really educational, just like I'm saying. I hope you're following and remembering every detail. And then the same thing, you just pause it and you're done. For me, it was actually a really convenient solution. And then you can share it, save it, delete, or whatever. While we're on this topic, I just wanted to share some other things that saved my life. First application is called Sticky Notes. I don't know how many of you knew that this application exists. It's a, what do you call it? It's a native Windows application. So as a tester also, we have a lot of environments, a lot of credentials, a lot of users, a lot of information, a lot of like staging, test, and prod environment, for example, and different users and many information for different browsers. I don't know, for like where you write your tickets. Yeah. And so I use sticky notes to write all those credentials, and I really love it. Can show you just in a second. Super easy. Also, the other application that I wanted to introduce to you is Active Presenter. It's an application that you can record Skype, even. I mean, Skype was, you can record Skype as anything, but you can even with audio by both sides. Why do I need this? Is, for example, when I'm in a new project and people are sharing new information and everything is new and I'm just lost, and they just, oh, you click here and then go here and then, okay. Like, how do I open it? So that really, I can go back and, but you have to ask the permission of a person or tell him that you're recording the conversation. But so you wouldn't have to ask him again and again, because the documentation is usually very, very poor on our projects, unfortunately. That's why I usually record, and then I can come back and see how it works. And the last one is ShareX, or any other application. There are many of them. It's an application that I use for making screenshots and to send them, to upload them, for example, and to share them with others, like developers. Why do I like ShareX? Is because it's also for free. It doesn't have any advertisement. Usually when you use like Clip2Net or something, yeah, then it has so many like advertisements all over the place. And plus, it has hotkeys, just like Clip2Net. And one more thing, I had a project, for example, that was forbidden to make any screenshots and push it to the anywhere in the cloud. So make sure that your customer is okay with that. And I'm not teaching you anything illegal here, okay? Because yeah. Anyway, so those are really helpful things that I use daily, and just wanted to. For example, about sticky notes, I found out like after working for like 3 years, and I'm like, how did I leave before? Okay, next question is how to find an error code when something went wrong in a web application.
Yeah, it's surprising. Here it is.
And why do we need it? Why do we even need it? No, I mean error code. Like usually you write something went wrong. That's how I usually do.
Way to tell you what went wrong.
You will, yeah, I think.
Exactly. So yeah, as it was said, it's very easy to go to the application which is built-in in a web browser, any browser, so like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, so on. So you just push the F12 button and you can see the inspector options where you can find a few tabs. So these 3 tabs are most likely to be useful for the QAs. First of them is a console, the second is a network inspector, and also the elements inspector. And the first tab is the console. It's a tool which is mainly used by the developers, like in JavaScript to test something, but for the QAs in our life, it helps us to identify some problem. So you just run some tests. You just go and push this button and see that everything is going okay or bad. So if everything is going bad, you can see some red messages. For example, it could be like a client errors, or it could be a server errors. For the client errors, it's always starting with the 400 codes. In the bad request, it's unauthorized, not found, and some others. Most of them could not be critical because they are produced on the client side. When someone, for example, tries to find not existing page or user tries to see the page which is when he's not authorized, but some of them could be also like an errors when, for example, you go to home page and you can see the 404 error. It's not really good. So the server errors just typically starts with the 500 number, and they're pretty critical. Any existence of any of these errors will produce just breakable of the application. So it could be a page, it could be a whole service, and the whole websites. These error messages just need to be put on the bug when you're raising a ticket. So they will help developers faster to understand which is the problem. When you just write that, oh, the page is broken, and you don't put the error messages and the stack log from the console, it says nothing to the developer, and he will spend too much time to investigate and find this way how to get to this page, which is probably can be taken from 20 steps. The elements inspector is mostly like to be used for testing user interface. So you have just to click on the elements inspect button, and you can find everything you just need to test. So you probably won't be testing the interface, just saying, oh, this button is big or this is small. With the elements inspector, you have a position, you have colors, you have height, width, and the fonts of the element. So you can check the designs and mockups and your page, how it looks like, how it feels, and whether it is the same as it is expected. So just use it when you need to test user interfaces. Another option in this inspector is the resolution changer. It is used when you have a responsive website, when it doesn't depend on the page resolution. So you can test here, put in any kind of the resolution. So on this screenshot, you can see the resolution for the iPad. But anyway, it doesn't emulate any device. It's just a Chrome web browser that is running in some probably small or just bigger windows. Another tool that can be helpful is a network inspector. The feature is here that you can set up not only the speed but also the latency of the connection, so-called ping, and take a look how much it will take to download the page, whether it will be crashed there by timeout or something like that. You also can simulate the offline connection. So just imagine you have just a payment, yeah, right? You put your credit card number and just press the pay button, and you, after a few seconds, should see the successful message. And for example, something will be done. You will buy some, product. And in this critical scenario, you also need to test on the network. So you just push, for example, offline simulations on the submit button, and we'll take a look whether it will be okay or not. Just when you just pay money and see the error, you just didn't buy it, it's not okay. So it's like live scenario. For the log or for the network inspector, you can see the file that can be downloaded or were downloaded on your page, and also the error messages failed to download, and all resources that didn't download it on your page. So this is also can be helpful even when you see on the console there are no errors, like it's clean here. These resources can be inspected because they can be out of the code, like images or third-party resources. Okay, and we have one more question. It's how to test input boundaries in the text field.
Yes. Also, as a tester, often I had to test, for example, login text input box, right? And in the requirements, it says that it's allowed to put up to 50 symbols, for example. And before I knew there's something like that, I used to just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up until 50, 51, 49, you know, all of them. And I'm lucky if it's just 50. Sometimes it has like whatever, and 250 or even more. And yeah, there are. I did not know that. You see, I guess I'm the blonde here, but I did not know. So, do you know any? Say it again. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, there, but I never use it for that, actually. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, and...
Do you mean it says in the requirements that at the front end side you cannot put more than 50 characters? Like that, if you're talking about a website, right? So the user cannot put, if they put 51, it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah, or it should give you an error, or yeah, I should verify that it won't crash my application, or yeah, web page, it won't like kick me out, or my computer won't break. I don't know. Yes, that's the case. So I use that. I bet all of you know that, no? It's just a web page where you enter how many symbols you need, and it gives you a text that you can put anywhere. And once I even did something for test purposes. I used like a Peace and War book or something, and did you do it? I was like, yes, I'm sorry. So this is actually, somehow I found out about this only like half a year ago or something. And it really, literally helped me a lot. So I don't have to count now. And I'm sorry if it was obvious.
So did you just copy?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know how many characters are
I guess not everyone knows what it is. I can show you. Let's see. It's really easy, and I love it. So where am I? I'm here.
So this is a generator of text, and it counts and it generates. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's the one. I think it's. No, wait. Huh? Вот это вот. Почему по-другому выглядит? Anyway, yeah. So you just put how many symbols you need, and usually that's the text. You see? So you have exactly 50. Here's exactly 50 symbols, and you don't have to count. You can, and that's how I usually just test by like 51, and it should just give me an extra. I don't know, maybe something super simple, just like we promised. We will tell you about super simple things that is helpful, hopefully. Anyway, so yeah, that's how it works. How to test, oh, that's also mine. How to test in different browsers versions. For example, we have an application, the web application that we need. We made some, how do you call it? We just went, here. We have like 20 people, 30 people, and we ask who is using which browser and which version, right? And then we picked top 3, and then I have to test in those 3 browsers. Usually you cannot Actually, you cannot have two browsers of the same browser but different version on one computer. So before I knew about that, I used something else. Anyway, who knows what we can use to test in different browsers versions. For example, the same browser but different versions. Anyone knows an application?
Maybe some standalone offline version of this browser.
For like standalone Android versions.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did before. But how do you do it exactly?
You just look at the archive of different versions, you download the zip file of the one you're interested in, and then probably just run it. And
Have you tried it? Have you? Anyone?
For Mozilla, some version you can put on a USB stick and use on computer. It's not new installation. Portable version.
For Google also, but you must to disable auto update.
But another way I see in this situation is maybe install VirtualBox and
Yeah, that's what we had. But usually it takes time, it takes a lot of your resources. Yeah, that's what we did before.
what if you need to get the name on an iPhone or an Android?
I think that works actually. Yeah, this application unfortunately is not for free, but it's perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did before at least. We had many virtual machines with different environments, wherever we needed. But usually, yeah, it was a headache. At least my computer would die by having like 4 different machines running. Anyway, so what I'm using the browser stack. And one girl, when she found out that I don't know what it is, she thought I should be fired. But because I have to know, I guess. Now you know. And I'll show you how it works. I already actually opened it. Here's the first. Where's my? Here we are. Here's the browser stack, and it has all kind of devices, even like Android, iOS, just like you've said, Windows, Mac, and for example, we have Android here, right? In different browsers, different versions. And I absolutely love it. You just click, and you have it. And doesn't, I mean, it might cost something. I'm not sure how much it cost. But for me, it was really useful. Unfortunately, you can only use browser here. I mean, it's not a real device. You can't like install things. But you can make screenshots and like some other settings. You just use it as a regular browser. You can, I don't know, also go to Facebook, for example, or whatever. So now you know, if you didn't.
There is also the application like browser link.
Perfect, even better. Now I know. Browser link. So, yeah, it pretty much has everything you can think of, I think. And I never heard of this one. Thank you. Sorry. Back to, what do I use it for? Just like I said, we had one single web application that I had, not just me personally, our whole QA team was supposed to manually test it on like, across like 4 browsers, 3 versions or something. Yes. With web, just web. But still, pretty easy, way easy. And now you know a free one, which is even better. Okay, next question is, oh yeah, that's also, it's all from my like life experience. How to change your GPS appearance, which means, for example, I was in a, we had an application. that was using my location. And I needed to change. For example, if either on my phone I can turn it on or turn it off. And if I turn it on, it says you're in Lublin. But what if I need to test and pretend that I'm in some other place, like in Warsaw or something else? So what do I do?
There is two ways. One is hard one. Send your phone
To Warsaw?
Or fix GPS location application.
Yeah. Perfect. Do you have a toy already?
Something for car.
Perfect. Yeah, we do. We do. The last one. So yes, the application I'm using called Fake GPS Free, just in case somebody is not sure. Super easy also. You just install it on, actually it's for Android. And you can't remember if there is one for iOS. I don't know. What?
Jailbreak. You need to jailbreak iPhone. Do that. But I don't know if that is a real easy way.
For example, why did I use it? I'm just not trying. I'm afraid not to tell too much about my project. But the idea there was a requirement that the application was supposed to tell me about things that are located nearby in like 250 meters, for example. And in my location, there was nothing. For example, it was looking for like stores or for something that we were doing. And that's why I had to pretend I was in a different place. So when it was searching for things, yes. And how you do it? You just, it says double tap on the map. Exactly. You just tin and click play, and it says starting a fake location. And then whenever you want to stop testing this or change, you also like double click. Super easy, for free. I think it does have some advertisement there, but you can survive. And then you just stop it by clicking. Any questions here? Perfect. We're still here. How to use an app if it has geo-blocking, which is, for example, we were creating an application for the US customers, and somehow they do not provide such service in our location. So I had to pretend the same thing, that I'm somewhere there, but not with with GPS, but with my IP, like more address thing. Any ideas here? Yeah. Thank you. And which present do you want? Daddy, please help. So I'm using this one, the Hola Proxy. That's how it looks. You just download it, and then you select any country. And that's how it works. It just resends all of your requests through, they called idle, and that's it. It happens like, you get it, right? Okay. So that was helpful also, whenever you can access an application that you need. So, and you can download it on any device, like Android or on a desktop, which is, I mean, your computer, laptop, or whatever computer. I think we're done. Perfect timing. Now we have a question. Who remembers all of the 10 tips that we've discussed? We have some price left.
Two simulators.
Yes.
Testing browsers.
It's easy.
Version. That goes in Chrome.
Yes.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Or except the fourth one.
Maybe some testing inputs.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
What?
Proxy.
The proxy.
HTTPS.
Work in Spain?
Ah, да, точно. And?
Installing apps on Android.
No.
Work in Spain?
If you work in Spain, for example, and I need... Yeah, you said it? Okay, and remote desktop. Perfect. Which present do you want? I'll give you this one. This fit? Anyway, yes, perfect. Because I like to travel a lot, and I don't like to take all of my devices with me. That's why I use all of the the one that we showed. Because I can't take like 5 cell phones and 5 tablets and laptop and everything. That's why that will help me. I hope it will help you. If you have any other questions, please, Vitaliy will answer. Yeah, and otherwise, we're good. Any questions?
What happened when customers want only to use real
Device?
hardware, not simulators, emulators? Did you buy new hardware for every customer or project?
I think it depends on the company. In our company, I don't know. It's on the high levels. They somehow agree. But usually, yeah, we do, and we share devices inside of the company. But that's sometimes a problem because, yeah, it depends. Sometimes customer buys. Sometimes we buy as a DataArt. And sometimes we just use the emulators. It depends how you can bargain, I guess.
Because sometimes something working in emulator but not working.
Yes, it happens.
The emulator is just an entry level. It's just to analyze that could be a problem. Yes, but probably the real device is the best way, but it could be situations.
Uh-huh.
Which offers you real devices, like tons of devices you can choose a device. I don't remember all names.
Uh-huh.
So, but you also have to Google.
Mhm.
So you can maybe, if it's one time, you can create some trial account and test.
I think even BrowserStack has something like that too, because it always asks if you want to connect your real device and share it with everyone.
Firebase has this function to test on physical devices.
Mhm.
Many physical devices hosted by Google, and you can run them in Firebase Cloud. And I think it's only for Android, but it's quite cheap and accessible.
I had a story when my application wouldn't even install on a real device, and it totally worked on the emulator. So I was like, okay, I'll just continue testing on emulator. I can't even install it here because of the version of my Android. Yeah, but still, I mean, I guess did we answer your question? Yes, we did. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Do you know any free
I
or
guess-
cheap alternative for browser stack?
We have one
Yeah.
browser line.
Browser line.
Browser line.
Link.
Line, right? Ah, link. Then I guess.
Browser link. The free one.
Browser link. Ling. Ling. Browser ling. Ling. Okay, that's. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. I don't know.
One more question?
1, 2. Okay. So. I'm sorry.
Could you please repeat?
Yeah. Specifier. I think it's not specified.
It is this way.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one option. So the question was, what if we need to test specific special characters? I guess, yeah. So what do we do? The answer was to use Google Translate, or I never heard of requirements such as having of a special characters that long. Usually, they just, in general, there is a verification if they're permitted or not. So you can, it's enough just to type a couple of them. For us, it's easy because we have Russian keyboard. I don't know, just install, I guess, a keyboard.
So at least one character which is not allowed from the requirements from the step of generated general characters that are allowed, that will be required, and it will be this way.
But yeah, I don't know about any official
Yeah, I didn't
application.
see like some randomizer. Maybe it could be, but we didn't have such requirements in our projects.
Really rare.
Rare scenario.
Questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.